You feel it in your chest. Not pain exactly, but a kind of weight, like something is pressing down from the inside. You are sitting in a room, probably surrounded by people, or maybe not. It does not matter. The feeling is the same. You are lonely. And before you write that off as a mood or a personality flaw or just something you need to push through, consider this. Your body did that to you on purpose. The loneliness you feel right now is not a malfunction. It is a survival mechanism so old, so precise, so deeply wired into your biology that scientists are only beginning to understand how sophisticated it truly is. And the real answer to why you feel it is far stranger than anything you have been told. Start with a number, somewhere between 150 and 200. That is the maximum number of meaningful social relationships the human brain can maintain at one time. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar arrived at this figure in the early 1990s when he noticed a startling pattern. Across primates, the size of the neocortex predicts the size of the social group. Bigger brain, bigger group. When he applied that ratio to humans, the number came out to about 150. It is now called Dunbar's number, and it tells us something important. Your brain was built for other people, not just wired to tolerate them, actually designed structurally to hold them. But why? Go back 100,000 years. You are a human, not a metaphor, not a thought experiment. You are standing on a plain in East Africa. You have no claws, no venom, no thick hide, no speed that matters. You are, by any objective measure, one of the most physically vulnerable large animals on the planet. The only thing that keeps you alive is your group. They share food when you cannot hunt. They watch the perimeter while you sleep. They carry your children when you are injured. Alone, you are dead within days, maybe hours. Alone, you do not survive. Your body learned this, not as a lesson, but as a law, and laws need enforcement mechanisms. This is where neuroscientist John Cacioppo comes in. Cacioppo spent decades studying loneliness at the University of Chicago, and what he found rewired everything researchers thought they understood about social pain. He discovered that loneliness does not just feel bad the way a headache feels bad. It triggers a measurable biological cascade. Your immune system shifts, inflammation rises, your stress hormones, particularly cortisol, spike. Your cardiovascular system goes on alert. Your sleep fractures into shallow, restless stretches. Your brain starts scanning your environment differently, tuning its threat detection systems higher, reading neutral faces as hostile, interpreting ambiguous situations as dangerous. This is not psychology. This is physiology. Your body is reacting to loneliness the way it reacts to physical threat. And that is the first clue. Your body is not punishing you for being lonely. It is trying to save your life by making sure you do not stay that way. Think about pain, real physical pain. When you burn your hand, the pain is not the problem. The burn is the problem. The pain is the signal. It is the alarm that forces you to act. Without it, you would leave your hand on the hot surface until the damage became catastrophic. Pain is your body's most aggressive communication system. It overrides thought. It demands action. What Cacioppo argued, and what decades of subsequent research has confirmed, is that loneliness works the same way. It is social pain. It is the alarm your body fires when you have become dangerously isolated. It hurts because it is supposed to. It is designed to be uncomfortable enough that you cannot ignore it, uncomfortable enough to drive you back toward your group, back toward safety, back toward survival. Now here is where it gets strange. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran a study in which participants were placed in a brain scanner and asked to play a simple computer game. They believed they were playing with two other people online. The game involved passing a virtual ball back and forth. Partway through the session, the other two players stopped passing the ball to the participant. They were being excluded, socially rejected, in a video game, by strangers they would never meet. For about 2 minutes, the brain regions that lit up during this exclusion were the same regions that process physical pain. Not similar regions, the same ones, specifically the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula, both core components of the pain matrix. Being left out of a game felt, to the brain, like being burned. Eisenberger called this the social pain overlap theory, and it reframed what loneliness is at the most fundamental neurological level. Social pain and physical pain are not two different systems using the same emotional language. They are one system. Your body does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken connection. Both register as damage. Both trigger the same alarm. And here is the evolutionary logic behind that. For most of human history, social exclusion was a death sentence. If your group cast you out, you were alone in an environment that was actively trying to kill you. Predators, cold, starvation, other groups. There was no apartment you could retreat to, no delivery service, no internet. Exclusion meant death. So the brain needed a system powerful enough to make you fight to stay included. What better way than to make exclusion feel like physical injury? It worked. It kept you in the group. The group kept you alive. You survived long enough to pass that system on to your children, and their children, and theirs. Down through 100,000 years, the whole unbroken chain of human survival, all the way to you, sitting in your apartment, feeling a tightness in your chest over a text message that never came back. The stakes changed. The mechanism did not, but the story does not end there. Because what Cacioppo also discovered is what happens when loneliness becomes chronic, when the signal never gets answered, when the alarm keeps firing and nobody comes. In the short term, loneliness is a motivator. It makes you seek connection. It makes you reach out. Under normal circumstances, the pain peaks, you re-engage with your social world, the signal quiets down, and your biology returns to baseline. That is the system working correctly. But when loneliness becomes persistent, something shifts. The brain does not keep sending the same signal indefinitely. It adapts. And the adaptation is dark. After extended isolation, your brain begins to treat other people differently. Instead of seeing them as a potential solution to the loneliness, it starts perceiving them as a potential threat. Cacioppo documented this shift carefully. Chronically lonely people show heightened vigilance to social threat. They scan faces more aggressively for signs of rejection. They interpret ambiguous social cues negatively. They become more defensive, more guarded, more withdrawn, not because they want to be, but because their threat detection system has been running so hot for so long that it has recalibrated. Here is the cruel irony your body engineers in this state. The longer you are lonely, the harder it becomes to connect. The alarm that was supposed to drive you back toward your group starts driving you away from it. Because in the ancient calculus your body is running, a group that left you out this long is probably not safe to approach. Your body is preparing you for a hostile world. It is trying to protect you. And in doing so, it tightens the trap. This is why loneliness is contagious. A 2009 study by Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler traced the social networks of thousands of people over decades and found that loneliness spreads through social groups the way a cold does. If you are lonely, the people at the edges of your social network are 52% more likely to become lonely themselves. Loneliness rewires behavior in ways that ripple outward. The defensive hypervigilance, the negative interpretation of social cues, the withdrawal. Other people feel it. They pull back, and the circle spreads. None of this is weakness. None of this is a character flaw. This is your Stone Age survival system running in a world it was never designed for. A world where the threats are invisible and social and slow building rather than sudden and physical and immediate. You were never built to be alone. You were built in the most literal biological sense to exist inside a web of other people. Your immune system runs better with them. Your sleep runs better with them. Your cardiovascular system runs better with them. Your pain tolerance is higher when someone you trust is nearby. You even run faster, according to research by Gavin Buckingham, when you believe a friend is watching. The loneliness you feel is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is evidence that something is profoundly right. It is proof that your body is paying attention. It is the oldest alarm system in the human toolkit, calibrated over hundreds of thousands of years to tell you one thing with absolute certainty. You matter to people, and people need to matter to you. The tightness in your chest is not a malfunction. It is a signal. The same signal your ancestors felt on the plain when they wandered too far from the fire. Come back! You are not built for this. Come back! And the next time you feel it sitting in a room, maybe surrounded by people, maybe not, you can choose to hear it for what it actually is. Not a sign that you are broken, a sign that you are unmistakably, irreducibly designed to be found.